Hello everyone and welcome back to the Cobra Corner. And today in this video I'd like to discuss who I think has the best chance against Kwon in the Sakai Takai tournament in Barcelona, which will be in part 2 of season 6 of Cobra Kai. Kwon has established himself as a formidable fighter, and under the tutelage of Sensei Kreese he has been turned from a class clown to a serious fighter who has found his focus. In terms of actual fighting skill, he is probably the best we have ever seen. And he is probably the most naturally gifted as well. And he has trained in Tang Soo Do all his life in a sheltered karate environment and lifestyle, something that even the likes of Daniel, Kreese and Silver have never done. They all found karate a bit later in life, and he really, for Kwon, karate is all he has ever known, so it makes him a serious threat. So I mean, it's safe to say that when you add all that up, it's safe to say that if you take away the plot armor, Kwon is a definite favourite going into this tournament. What's worse also is that none of the Miyagi Fang students expected to come up against Cobra Kai again, let alone against a fighter of Kwon's capability. They've had no time to prepare for such a fighter, whereas Kreese has been able to model Kwon and his fellow students on how exactly they're going to take down the likes of Miguel, Robbie, Hulk, Dimitri and Sam. With that said, however, I'm going to dive into each Miyagi Fang student and if I think they have a chance against Kwon. First up is Miguel, the first to win the All Valley since the karate rivalry got reignited. Out of all of the Miyagi-Do, excluding the senseis of course, Miguel is the longest training male fighter. I say male fighter because Sam had trained karate for years prior when she was younger. Miguel is a highly skilled fighter. He's not as aggressive as the likes of Hulk or Robbie. However, in my opinion, that makes him a more balanced fighter. And a lot is riding on him winning the Sakai Take. Most importantly, his chance of college. This will be a big motivator for Miguel, as the prize money could essentially pay for his college. Now, does Miguel really have the skills to hurt Kwon? I believe Miguel will be a tough challenge for Kwon, and he is capable of beating him. Based on what we've seen so far though, Kwon looks the more likely victor out of the two if we had to put money on it. Moving on to Hulk, who can probably be one of the most aggressive fighters from Miyagi Fang, at least when he wants to be. In his All Valley win, he displayed a bit more of the Miyagi-Do in him. Hulk is also one of the longest training fighters from both dojos, starting not long after Miguel. Hulk is a well-rounded fighter who has Eagle Fang, Cobra Kai and Miyagi-Do in his arsenal. Hulk vs Quan is honestly my dream matchup, as it'll be a match with plenty of offense. In a way, I feel like Hulk, more than anyone, really wanted to pursue the Sakai Takai, and in turn didn't even want to distract himself with MIT and has put all his effort into preparing for the tournament. He is extremely driven by wanting to succeed, so if he comes up against Quan, he will give it everything. Still, based on everything we've seen, Kwon is probably still favourite to prevail. Then there's Dimitri, the man who beat Hulk to earn his spot in the Sakai Takai. Ultimately, Dimitri, until persuasion by Yasmin, wasn't all interested in competing in the Sakai Takai, and that for me indicates that he might not want it nearly as much as his Miyagi Fang counterparts. This, coupled with Dimitri's cynical views of himself from time to time, tells me he probably has the least chance of beating Kwon. He's also been studying karate the least out of the 4 Miyagi Fang male fighters in the tournament. In order to defeat Kwon, there's no room for any kind of doubt, and this is where I feel Dimitri will fall short against him, unfortunately. And then finally, Robbie. In my opinion, should Robbie face Kwon, it will make for the most interesting matchup. Not only is it a clash of 2 great athletic and skilled fighters, but Robbie has so much to gain from this Sakai Take win. He has been riddled with a feeling of second place in back-to-back All Valleys, and has been eating away at him. Tori, his girlfriend, who pledged to stick with him through thick and thin, has joined Cobra Kai, although it seems reluctantly. This will be a big factor on what could happen to Robbie in the tournament, in my opinion. We all saw how he beat Miguel in Season 6 to fight for captaincy, how his mind was so at peace when he saw that Tori was watching him. But now Robbie's mind will not be at peace, and despite being an incredible fighter, much like Dimitri, if you haven't got your head in the game against a fighter like Quan, it's only going one way. It'd be interesting to see if Tori plays a part in this fight. Should it happen, potentially she even gives Robbie the inspiration he needs to beat Kwon. After all, she's going to want to see her boyfriend succeed over a Cobra Kai fighter she's known only 10 minutes. Winning the Sekai Taki for Robbie would be everything after all he's gone through. He is the greatest male fighter on the show to have never won big, never won a competition or a tournament, and I would love for him to succeed against all odds in the final series of Cobra Kai. It would be a beautiful swan song for Robbie. And this is a bit of a curveball answer that, is a bit conspiracy theorist, is a bit tinfoil hat of me. However, what if Kenny, someone so desperate to be part of the Sekai Takai, somehow has managed to find a way in, potentially even representing a Terry Silver dojo? After all, Silver mentored Kenny and included him in his dojo when Kreese didn't really want to. Could Silver convince Kenny to fight in the tournament representing Quicksilver Karate, and could he be the one to dethrone Kwon? After all, there's a likelihood Silver knows who Kwon is and could have modelled Kenny's training based on fighting someone like Kwon. This is extremely little chance of this happening, but still, sometimes it's nice to fantasize. Finally, obviously, plot armor plays a big role in every film and TV show ever. So therefore, I don't really expect Kwon to prevail over our fabulous four from Miyagi-Fang. I think it's just too dark to have Cobra Kai prevail in the final season. That being said though, part 2 is the Sekai Takai and part 3 could be the aftermath. So if Cobra Kai were to win the international tournament, there's every chance Miyagi-Fang still stands tall when the curtain closes on the great show we know that is Cobra Kai. And that is all we have time for today. I hope you enjoyed the video and I'll see you on the next one.